We are ready whenever you're ready, Mr. Carlos. Carlos.
I am ready.
Thank you for joining us today. We just had a couple different questions we'd like to ask you.
See.
Thank you for joining us today. We had a couple questions we'd like to ask you. Carlos.
See.
How do you feel about the current U.S. drug policy?
I gotta tell you, man, it's comical, man. You got crazy congressmen shutting down the government. They can get nothing going. I gotta tell you, it's completely crazy. Because what you are doing is you are keeping the peoples who could be paying taxes, okay? You're keeping them in jails. And you're paying to keep them in jails. These are income earners, man. Oh, they had a little marijuana on them. What's a big deal? It's no big deal. You know? They got a little marijuana. They don't go to jail. They go to work. They make a livings. They pay taxes. You tax the income. It's called income tax, okay? Everybody does this. Every country, you do it. But what you do, you put these people in jail. They don't help nobody in jail, okay? So, they come out of jail. They don't go to jail. What they do? They go, they make a livings. They make a livings, you tax the income. That's revenue stream number one, okay? Then, they buy the marijuanas, okay? You tax the sale of marijuanas. It's a no-brainer, man. No-brainer. That's revenue stream number two, you see? Then, you tax the middleman who is selling the marijuanas, or you tax the grower who is selling the marijuanas, okay? That's another revenue stream. And then you tax the guy who's growing the marijuana and selling it, either to the middleman or directly to the person who is going to use the marijuanas. That's a profit tax, okay? You have possibly 4 revenue streams, okay, that you are missing out on. That is stupid, man. Come on, you gotta be smarter than that, man. Everybody knows this. You know, I ain't not telling you nothing new. But yeah, you gotta tax the marijuanas, man. You gotta legalize and tax it. I tell you something else, man. A very smart lawyer from Harvard, okay, he said this many, many years ago. Okay, he said, you gotta make this, you gotta, let me tell you what he said. I think it. What he said was, you cannot make this a criminal problem. You gotta make it a health problem, okay? That guy's smart, okay? You gotta make it a health problem, not a criminal problem. That's what you gotta do, and tax it.
Carlos, I have to agree you made several valid points there.
Of course.
But so why do you feel the U.S. is so opposed to the legalization of marijuana?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. You're a smart guy. I like it. Okay, this is why. Okay, I thinking because your country, okay, is very religious. Okay, you got a lot of religious-based legislature. Okay, I call them Jesus laws. Okay, Jesus laws. Okay, you call him Jesus, okay? Jesus laws is clouding your thinking, man, okay? You got historical precedent, okay? It never worked. Do you know what I mean? It never worked. You got, what's it called? The prohibition, right? Prohibition in the 30s never worked. It never worked then. It's not gonna work now. You cannot legislate morality, okay? You tried it before, it not work. It's not gonna work now. You gotta keep religion in the church. Okay? You cannot bring it into politics, man. Okay? No, you gotta keep it in a church, man. You know? Too much religion, you know, it clouds the thinking. It don't make it clear, you know? Yeah, you cannot be religious, man. You gotta be practical, man. You gotta think of the taxes and the income. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that is why. I think that is why. I think it's too much religion in the laws over there in America, man. It's no good.
Do you think that the use of marijuana dates back how far back do you think use began, and, you know?
It probably began many, many years ago, you know, because, you know, people got a lot of pressures on them, you know, like a lot of stress, you know, maybe back in the old days when, you know, people were farming and it was hot and you got tired, so you want to relax a little bit, you know, take the edge off, so you do a little marijuana. It's a long time, man. It's been used a long time, you know. Plus, it got medicinal purposes, you know. It got medicinal benefits. You know, you got a little pain because you've been working in a field all day. Your back hurts. What you do? You take a little marijuana. It's no problem, you know. Nobody gonna judge you. I mean, what's the problem? You know, it's a green cigarette. Everything is green now. It's a green cigarette. It's organic, you know. You're gonna love it. So I think it dates back many years ago. See, many years ago. I think so.
I've heard crazy stories that marijuana, people have been able to find that marijuana use goes back to biblical days. Do you have any?
It probably does. It probably does. I tell you what else. I tell you what else. That brings it to another point. I forgot to mention this before. Biblical days. That's a good point. See, because you got a lot of religion in your laws. See, because you think Jesus was not a smoker, right? Jesus not a smoker, so we cannot allow people to smoke because we're very religious and we're gonna bring religious into our politics. But let me tell you something. Jesus, look at him, right? He got long hair, flip-flops. You know he's a smoker. You see somebody on the street like that today, long hair, flip-flops, what you think? You're thinking he's smoking, okay? So Jesus, he was a hippie, man. I gotta tell you, man, hippie. He was a hippie with a large following, okay? And you know hippies smoke. So I think Jesus, he was a smoker. So you gotta let that go. You gotta let that religion go, man. Okay? You gotta accept the fact that Jesus was a smoker. Okay? Everybody's smoking. I gotta tell you, man. Everybody's smoking. You got that guy Bill Maher. You hear of him? Bill Maher. He's on HBO. See? Yeah. He's smoking, man. Your president, okay? Your president, he's a smoker, man. You know, your neighbor, probably smoking. Okay? Your parents who grew up in the 60s, those hippies, probably smoking. Everybody's smoking, man. See? That's a good question, man. That's a good question.
I'd like to revisit one of the points you made earlier about taxation, about one of the 4 different ways. Was it 4?
See, 4 revenue streams.
4 revenue streams. One of them was taxing the people that are currently in jail. We'd be able to tax them if they were employed.
See.
These drug addicts, if they were released, who is going to employ them?
You know, that's a very good question, man. You got a lot of good questions. You are challenging me intellectually. This is like a cerebral exercise. I like this, man. I like you. You're a good man. Okay, that's a good question. Who is going to employ these peoples? Okay, well, let me tell you something. Okay, what's going to have to happen is they're going to have to be released from jail, and from that point on, nobody can go to jail if all they got is a little marijuana on them. I'm not talking about some hard criminal, you know, robbery, murder. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just people with marijuana possession. Okay, you gotta release them from jail, okay? And you gotta expunge the record. You gotta forgive. You know, like Jesus, okay? Like Jesus forgive, you gotta forgive them. And that is what we call irony, okay? That's an example of irony. I gotta tell you, man, you know Americanos, they don't know the difference between irony and coincidence. They mix it up all the time. So I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give you a little English lesson, and which is ironic in and of itself. It's because me teaching you English got crazy. Anyhow, what I'm saying is, okay, that's the irony. It's because Jesus put him in jail, okay, and Jesus is going to get him out, okay? It's religion-based laws put him in jail, and it's religion that are going to forgive them, like Jesus would forgive the people. They got to forgive them, expunge the record, and then they could go out and make a living, you know? Because they're not going to make a living with a felony on their record or a misdemeanor, you know? That's not going to work. Who's going to hire them? Not me. I don't hire criminals, man. No way. That's a good question.
Now, if there was legalization, that would you be concerned that it would bring more suppliers into the market? More suppliers into the market, perhaps
of course.
Big tobacco companies, Philip Morris,
Sí.
etc.
Philip Morris, sí.
Now we know how you deal with your current competition, or we can assume. Sorry, but how would you deal with that kind of competition in a legitimate world?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I tell you, you got a lot of good questions, man. I was hoping you were a little dumber, but no, you're a smart guy. Okay. Well, I tell you, it would be a little different competition. But I tell you, first I think it would not be a lot of competition because I would think they would have to join out with me, right? Join out with me and let like a joint venture because I have cultivated the resources to grow the marijuana and they have not. See, they're not gonna grow marijuana on their tobacco fields, right? Because a lot more people are smoking cigarettes than marijuana, so they're not gonna cannibalize their cigarette business. What they're going to do is they're going to partner up with me and buy my product, see? And they're going to have to sell it on a different label, you know? Not Marlboro, but like something like Carlos Green Cigarette or Carlos Organic Cigarette. Maybe Whole Foods can sell them, you know? Something like that. See. I'm always thinking, you know, that is brilliant. Brilliant, because I'm giving you some brilliant marketing over here. Because you know why under a different label? Do you know why? I tell you why. Because if you don't know where it comes from, you buy it. You know? See, so in terms of competition, if they don't now want to partner up and we are directly in competition, I gotta tell you, it's going to be different. See, it's going to be different. It's going to be more like a war, but more civil. It's going to be like a legal war, you know, between lawyers. You know, lots of lawyers are going to be involved. And let me tell you something. I know a lot of lawyers. I mean, I know lawyers all over the place. I know lawyers here, lawyers there, American lawyers, Mexican lawyers, all kinds of lawyers. They're all over the place. And I know them all, you know. So it's going to be something like that. See, it's going to be a more civil competition, more legal, I think. See, that's what I think is going to happen. Yes. Oh, excuse me, speaking of lawyers, it's one of them now. Excuse me. Diego, ¿cómo está, man? ¿Cómo está? Sí, sí. Diego, listen. A little problem. You know, they're going to drop the charges, huh? No? They're not going to drop the charge? Really? What they want? How much? Oh, Diego. There goes Christmas. Okay, Diego, do what you gotta do, man. My goodness, that's a lot of money, man. Okay, okay. My best to your wife, eh? Sí, sí. ¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? No, 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 it's nothing like that. Okay, okay, bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye. Lawyers, man. I know a lot of lawyers.
Now, if the U.S. were to go ahead and legalize marijuana, wouldn't that negatively affect your business?
Negatively affect my business? I gotta tell you. That's a good question. See, that's a good question. No, I don't think so. Do you know what I think will happen? Is it will bring down my costs. Because right now I got a lot of costs, you know? I got costs like transportation, which you might refer to as smuggling, you know? I got security costs. You know, I got a lot of different costs. And that's because it's illegal, you know? It's illegal, so I gotta protect myself, you know? However, if it was made legal, if it was legitimized, if the business was legitimized, all that cost is gone. I don't have the cost no more. I keep my prices the same. My profits go up because my costs have gone down. So no, it would actually help me. I think it's a good question, but I think it would actually help me. See, it would make me a lot happier because I don't have the costs. And costs, you know, costs kill business, you know. You can't control your costs, you got a lot of problems. See?
So is it safe to say that legalization would help legitimize you?
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. I would be a proprietor of a going concern, you know, a legitimate business, you know, because I would be like a CEO, you know, CEO. See, I would be on the cover of Money magazine. That's what I would be. I would be a legitimate businessman, right? Right now, you know, I'm infamous. But you legitimize the business, I'm famous. You're gonna make me famous. See, I think it's gonna be good. Yeah. See. Legitimate business, you're gonna make me famous. It's gonna be good. I like that. That's a good question, man. That's a good question.
So legalization leads to you being legitimate, which leads to you having to pay taxes. How do you feel about that, Carlos?
Sí, Carlos. Sí. I gotta tell you, man, that's another good question, man. You got a lot of good questions. Okay, taxes. I gotta tell you, right now, I pay a lot of different kind of taxes, you know. The police, they come around once a week. The federal police come around twice a week. You know, all kinds of police. The coppers, they come around all the time. You know, they keep coming and coming. Their cousin coming, their mother coming, everybody coming, you know. It's crazy, man. I get tired of paying taxes, man. You know, you call them payoff. You know, for me, they're taxes. The cost of doing business. So let me tell you something. If you legitimize my business, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to have one tax, one time a year. The taxman come around, I pay my taxes, that's it. I think it's going to help me. I would love to pay those kind of taxes, man. I hate paying taxes now. My lawyer just called me about more taxes I got to pay, you know, because they don't want to drop the charges. Well, that's what's going to happen. It's going